Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do begin, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, Deku, he fought against quite a number of Deathclaws. Mia, William, and Melissa are the last remaining survivors of Quarry Junction. They went out there with a friend who unfortunately was torn to shreds after the ATV flipped. Melissa, she was on the back of that vehicle. Whenever she went flying off the side and crashing down below, she managed to pull out the stealth boy. She ran to it and was able to use it. It saved her life. Afterwards, she climbed into one of the large trucks used to haul away stone at the quarry, even witnessing a part of the battle Deku had against those creatures. Deku, he tried to fight and go for lethal attacks against the Deathclaws. He tore out the Alpha's throat, killed a number of Deathclaws in a few strikes, and even went up against the Mother. But all that damage began to pile on. Eventually, Deku's left arm gave out. And knowing the fact that that side was now vulnerable, he took off the left arm. If he got back to the vault, it would have needed to come off anyways. The thing was hanging on by just a few tendons. In Izuku, he eventually managed to take out the Deathclaw Mother in an exchange of blows. He got her by the throat, and she got him by the gut, nearly disemboweling him. However, whenever Deku was able to cut the arteries in her throat, she was still living and still ready to kill. It was only after Deku was sent onto the ground that she tried to give it her all. She was gnawing into Deku's leg, trying to claw her way up to his throat. However, Deku, kicking her in the face over and over again, was eventually able to outlast her final death throes. And whenever he got to his feet and back to the vault with the help of this girl, he was quite the sight to behold. Multiple broken bones, multiple severed limbs, multiple slash marks, and or deep cuts that would need stitches. And fact of the matter, he was nearly disemboweled and lost his left eye. That is quite the shopping list of wounds to have stacked onto a living person and for them to still be considered alive. It meant quite a bit. William and Mia, along with Melissa, were currently locked in the brig. Deku talked to his father about flipping this call the overseers are making. Right now, he's resting and trying to gain back his strength. And the doctors are quite interested to track the progress of his recovery. They've seen minor wounds and small conflicts between the mutants. But this is the first chance they'll get to see something like this in progress. A lot of them have heard about Deku's combat logs, the injuries sustained, and how much they can recover from. It's brutal, but beautiful at the same time. Now, it's been nearly 3 days. Deku has asked them to use a super stim pack to help regrow his leg faster, but they aren't too sure about impeding the progress of his natural regeneration. It's faster than last time, but with all the damage he sustained and the surgeries they performed on him, it still feels like Deku isn't healing fast enough. And right now, there is where someone does sit at his bedside, asking him about everything. Are you sure you really should have fought them? I didn't really have a choice. Sure you did. You chose to do it, though. You're a bit of an idiot. You know Morrissey's going to give you some flack for it. I know. But how has everything been going? I don't like being cooped up here. I'd rather be at home or watching TV, but they don't have one here. They don't? Nope. That sucks. Marcy's doing fine. She's just a little busy with you know what? And I've been busy dealing with you know who. Tracy's still giving you problems? Well, none of the mutants know yet, and as far as what we told them already, Marcy thinks that Tracy's. I don't know the right word for it, but I just like to call the bitch crazy. Fair, but also not fair. I know. Can't blame her, but if we're going off of animal instincts bullshit, then she'd have to get in line. Right. Anyways, have you been down to talk to my sister? Nope. She's not allowed to talk to anyone, except for the overseers and security personnel, excluding your father. Right. And the kid? His family's trying to grieve. They were happy he could go to the surface, but they're not happy about what returned. I don't think anyone is. Fairly certain that they're all going to be taking our warnings a bit more seriously now, but after what the teams took photos of and brought back, along with your medical information, I'm sure it's going to be quite the slideshow that they do show off to everybody. I'm sure it is. But listen, I don't know what we're going to be doing next. I don't know what we're going to be dealing with the mutants, and in my current state, I'm not really fit for command. Are you asking me to take charge? Because I'll tell you right now, that's not going to happen. Right now, a knock on the door alerting them. And there is where Deku does get a turn and sees some people walk in, as well as one of the overseers. Deku, he does a turn and stare directly at Chloe the moment Tracy walks in. And Tracy, her eyes do to somewhat narrow, staring at Chloe. As Aiden, along with Julia and Logan, do come in, followed by Sherry, a shorter, dark-haired girl. And he does a turn looking at the group, as the overseer does go to watch them, him standing back as Tracy does talk about it. He looks to be in a lot better shape before, though he's missing the beard. And the long hair, it was working for him. Though the eye patch, that she can work with. Right. They'll be back soon. As for the arm and the leg, they'll grow back. Deku gesturing with that hand. Or, well, that arm. And she does just get to stare at it, asking him if that's exactly comfortable. Not really, no. Then again, the conditions I'm in are way better. If I lost a leg whenever we were still on an expedition, that would be very bad. Aiden. Sorry, we can do that? As far as I know, the Deathclaws have very powerful healing factors. They're one of the most dangerous creatures whenever it does come to raw endurance and killing power. We heal better than most people. I think better than most mutant creatures, but I could be wrong. The FEV experiments, they still happened. I know. But it's just so weird to look at. I get it. They'll be back soon, but as for the eye, I don't know. I've been shot, stabbed, impaled, nearly bisected, but never caught in the eye before. Doctors aren't sure if it's going to regrow or regenerate, or how that will work. They talked about putting me on a stim pack treatment for it, but I'm not sure if that's even possible for me. You don't think it will work? There's a chance I regain some vision if they do the treatment, but they want me in better condition before then. Until then, they've asked if they wanted to remove my scars at the auto dock. I don't know. Right now, the best they can do for me is just let me heal naturally and feed me a shit ton of food, but I'm not exactly sure someone wants to carry me to the crapper. Some of them going to start laughing, and he does go to talk about it. If they wanted to, he could go with them on an expedition. However, he would be vehicle restricted. And that is a generous statement. He's not currently in the best state to go at the moment. However, he's fairly certain that Overseer Matthews wants to discuss a sensitive matter with him. They can all head back to training, and when he's back on his feet and in better condition, he'll start back up with them again. Until then, let Miss Sutton know that he's here, and that he is willing to talk, since he hasn't really been discussing matters with her for the last couple of days. And they do get a somewhat nod, quickly going to leave as Tracy does go to give Deku a side smile, her turning and going to stick her tongue out at Chloe, turning and trying to make sure to exaggerate her stride, as Deku does lock eyes with the Overseer and not break eye contact, as the man does wait for them to leave, him turning to Chloe as Deku does get a nod to the man. She can stay. I see. Well, Mr. Midoriya, I'm going to make this quite to the point then, since it doesn't seem like you are in the mood to deal with much at the moment in your condition. Your sister, Mia Midoriya, and the young man who was with her, along with her accomplice, Melissa, she's currently in quite a number of troubles. Miss Anderson reported that Mr. William, he was the one who hacked your Pip-Boy. Mia, she was the one who got close to you and was able to copy your data signature, and Mr. Williams used it to fake a mission briefing, a dossier. I don't need to tell you how much trouble that has put him in. Under normal circumstances, we would deal with this matter with punishment details and restricting spices. However, this is a murder. I don't need to explain to you what happens during this. The overseers are classifying this as murder, not an accidental death. Well, Mr. Midoriya, that is our current issue. One of the overseers is pushing it as a murder. The others are in high disagreement with them. However, that would be Overseer McKinney. That young man who died was a few family members removed, but family. I see. Yes, young man. McKinney has been trying to push it as a murder, even though the young man went out there voluntarily and was unfortunately caught in an accident, from what we were able to investigate of the area. And what do you think of it? Logically speaking, it was an accident. Quite an unfortunate one, but an accident still altogether. The overseers are quite curious as to how you handled your situation. Quite violently. That is not what I mean, Mr. Midoriya. Miss, I believe, I will drop the formalities. Melissa, she saw your battle. She reported back on it, and while she is in the brig, she is confirming that you saved her life. William and Mia, they're considered to be accomplices, and there is the idea about charging them with this murder. If it is pushed that way, then I do not need to tell you the ramifications of this. You don't. Only a few instances of this have happened, and they've been isolated, dealt with quickly and quietly. I understand that. Now, we want you to give a bit of an input. We've debriefed the captives, and they've all said similar things. There's nothing to say. I would like for you to release them into my charge. If they want to see the surface, I'll give them the surface. It's that simple. My sister is an adventurous sort. I know her. I don't know William, but I'd like to have a personal conversation when I get the chance, Overseer. You wish for them to be released. They're still on punishment detail. Thing is, I'll just give them more of what they want until they can't stand it. Afterwards, I can bring them back here, and they'll be yours to either put on latrine duty or take away their spices, or restrict all of their free time. I don't really know. I don't know a proper punishment for this instance other than the default. It wasn't a murder, it was an accident. That's clear and to the point. I understand that. All of us do. Then you will understand whenever I do say releasing him into my charge would be for the best. If people on the surface learn of something like this, it's not that I'm worried about that. Then what are you worried about? Disorder, young man. Fine. Then, if that's the case, move her to Camp Searchlight. You're establishing a forward base there. It'll be simple. She isn't allowed back in the vault for an extended period of time. Restrict her to the airport and make a bunkhouse up there. I see. That is an interesting punishment. Are you sure it would suffice? I don't know. If the family doesn't want her around, then don't have her around. Our world is bigger than the vault, sir. Or have you not gone outside? I have not. I'd recommend it. But just don't go too far. Now, sir, if that's all, I would like to report to my home. Go home. I'm sorry, I'm just on some really good painkillers. I see. Well, young man, I can talk to the doctors and see what I can do. There's not much else we can really report on other than just having Marcy give details and have you perform a full exam later. Though we did notice something when going through previously about your arm. And that is? Well, the autodoc reported nerve damage in your left arm. Can you confirm this? I mean, we would have known about something like this before. It didn't pop up in your physical beforehand. Yeah, I've had the arm taken off before. I don't think the nerves fix the same way. That's a longer process. More delicate? I see. Then I guess we'll have to note that down. Yes, sir. I'd like to have more tests performed on you, with your permission. I understand your previous interactions with doctors, but still. I understand, Overseer. As long as my terms are met, I would be willing to be a lab rat again. However, just no needles and no drills. The man slightly wincing at that statement. And there is where he does understand. Right now, turning to go and leave. Deku wants to scare them straight on the surface. It's not a bad idea. And there is where Deku, he does get to head home. Right now, him going to sit down in his room on the couch. A lot going through his head. He was given more food and given more water. Along with that, he started watching through some of the old broadcasts that were on TV. He had a ton of files and reading documents put in front of him, and he was quite surprised. The Agricultural Division is talking about releasing creatures out into the wasteland. They're even starting to revive goats, the embryos they've had in storage. They've talked about, getting dairy cows up there. It's certainly an idea. Along with dogs. Their vaults has had dogs before, but they were highly limited. An actual dog pack, a pack of hounds, that would be incredible. That would be nice. Right now, this going through his mind. And Izuku, he does read through the documents, eventually falling asleep and having a bit of a nap. And the next morning, he does go to wake up. Right now, him looking at the progress his body has made. And Marcy, she does come stepping out of the room. Her asking him exactly if he's alright or if he's just going to be sitting there all day. Deku bringing up his arm and going to presumably wave at her. However, that's not the gesture Deku is trying to make. And she does roll her eyes, talking about it. She's just kidding. But she was curious about something else, though. Walking over and sitting down on the edge of one of the other chairs. Yeah. Well, family dinner? You see, I don't like the way your face scrunched up when you did that. Well, technically, there's a problem there. Your dad is the head of security. My dad works in the machine workshop. Chloe's dad works in agriculture, and well, you know how some of these things go. I get it. Not just that, but our relationship isn't exactly normal. And after your sister being a convicted felon, from what I've been hearing, it doesn't exactly help. Quite the family dinner night. God. Really glad it's not Thanksgiving. Right? Though, I'm not sure that's any better. Yeah. I talked about them letting me, be under my care. They're going to be discussing it soon. We might get some response back, but I'm not holding my breath on it. My dad's probably going to be pissed off, but that's just something I'll have to deal with then. I heard you had a talk with him. Not much of a talk. Right. Well, Deku's Pip-Boy going to chime. And there is where something does go to roll across his screen. Him going to look down at it as he does go to turn to Marcy, who does go to press the button for him since he is down an arm. And he does get to read the message that is given to him. It informing him that they've gone over the information and the matter has been put up to a bit of a vote, an urgent one. The matters discussed with Mia, Midoriya, and William are going to be quite simple. They would have to agree to his terms on how the proceedings will go. They will have to agree to be put into his care. And once he does believe that he's shown them a significant amount of the wasteland, they will be sent to see a mental health specialist to see if their views on the outside world have changed. Along with that, they will be banned from the vault for a short amount of time. Discretion as to when to tell them this, however, is up to him, since that does seem like quite a fitting punishment. And he does understand. Right now, him going to text back the overseer, Marcy writing it down for him, asking if he can have a private conversation with her sometime today. And a response back is shortcoming. A guard will be escorting her to the room, and that will happen in probably about 30 minutes. Now, Deku, he does get to wait. Eventually, there is a knock on the door. And whenever Marcy does get a stand, she does come back over with Mia. The guard standing outside looking nervous, since he does have his padded armor and a pistol. However, he's well aware that that doesn't exactly mean a lot whenever it does come down to these people. Marcy going to wave at the man who does give her a short nod, trying not to show how much danger he feels like he's in. And there is whenever Mia does get to see her brother. Right now, him going to sit there at the table as he is snacking on some meat. Right now, going to turn and talking about it. Well, she looks like she could be in a better mood. Holy shit. I mean, I heard you got messed up, but are you okay? I'm fine. Take a seat. Him going to pull the cap off of some whiskey. And he does it to pour her a drink and then to pour one for himself. Right now, him glancing at Marcy, who does go to shake her head and nod. I'd like to talk to you about what happened out there. Right. I should have listened to you. I know. The thing, I just, it killed him. I know. I was there. I mean, we ran it over with an ATV. I mean, it should have. It didn't. Mia, take a drink. Her knocking back the entire glass. Her trying not to cough. However, she does do so. Deku pouring her another one and going to take a sip of his own drink before he does talk about it. Now, he made a proposal to the overseers, and he's fairly certain this is going to be used as an example for quite a number of people. She's going to need to go see a mental health specialist after the time is done. However, she has a choice to be his subordinate. Are you serious? Yes, Mia. However, this does mean that the familial ties we do share won't mean a lot. Red does going to be giving you orders. I understand. Now, you are aware that this is why we aren't normally paired up with our cousins for classes or stuff? Yeah, I know. Listen, William is going to be given the same offer. I'll have a chat with him, and I'll have a chat with you. Right now, this is less formal. And I'll tell you right now, the wasteland is dangerous. It has horrors you don't even think you can imagine. Things I never thought was possible. And I'll tell you the dirty truth of it all. There are days where you might go hungry if you're out there. There are times whenever you don't have enough money for food, don't have enough money for water. You might think you can do things to get them. Good things, bad things. There are even times where you think your lucky break is hunting a creature, though it might just eat your ammo. The wasteland out there isn't a forgiving place. You've seen that. Though you've only ever seen the danger, not the people. You encountered the most dangerous thing out there, a deathclaw. You were able to get away from it with pre-war tech. Not everyone has that luxury. If you agree to it, then you'll be my subordinate and I'll take you out there. You'll get to see the world a bit. But you have to remember, this is a world after 2 centuries of no government, no peace, people out there just trying to kill each other and fend for themselves. That's it. I understand. And I might take you to some bad places. Places you really don't want me to take you to. Afterwards, you're going to be banned from the vault for a period of time. You'll either live in the airport or work in Camp Searchlight. You can't be serious. Mia, the overseers are talking about booking you with murder charges. Are you serious? Yes. Now, you know what happens when someone gets booked on those? It's an execution. That's it. I don't want you to die. The family doesn't want to see you. And if living on the surface means that you can't come back down to the vault, you might just get your wish. That's bullshit. No, Mia. It's the consequences of what you did. Even if they do classify it as some mistake, which it is, the family's going to want retribution. And that's going to cause more problems. An eye in an eye and the world goes blind. Her looking directly at Deku, and the eye patch on his face doesn't ease any of the guilt she does get to feel. She knows that he'll heal, but she's also smart enough to know that might not. There, God, my brain. That I may not heal. Now, Deku, he does take a sip of his whiskey, and he doesn't tell her. She's dismissed. However, she will not tell William about this. Those two will have their own private chat. However, He doesn't want her to see him again. Why? He's your boyfriend, right? He is. And he's been through some of the classes I have? Yes. Why? Mia, he's manipulating you. He's not. He convinced you to hack my Pit Boy. He convinced you to go to the surface with him on an unregulated expedition that would guarantee you were in trouble by the time you got back. You're a smart girl, Mia. But you're blind as a fucking bat whenever it comes to him. Hey! Am I wrong, Mia? You got someone killed because you listened to him. And you haven't gotten someone killed? I have gotten a lot of people killed. I killed Tommy. You killed Tommy? Wow. Yeah. Tommy went crazy. He was exposed to too much radiation, and by the time we found him, he was incoherent. Marcy believes he was sick in the head. He attacked us and shot off my fingers. Whenever we were able to talk him down, we tried getting him to leave his little base. That didn't work out. We got into a fight, and I shot him. Jesus. Yeah. We burned his house alive to remove any traces of him. Connor was shot in the chest, point blank range, with a plasma rifle. I thought I killed John too, but John's still alive. They still have him in a coma. A number of the vault dwellers have killed themselves after they wake up from cryo. Yeah, I'm trying to protect you from the things I've gone through, because I know what I've done. I don't want you to go through them. Do you understand this? I do. But, I mean, hell. That's a lot to take in. Yeah. There's a lot more. Like? Marcy's pregnant. Jesus Christ. That is... I thought you guys weren't... No, wait. Oh. Well, that does make sense. You just realized it was the animal part? Yeah, but I don't know how all that does work. I'll have to research that. But that's good. I mean, it's amazing. Don't tell Mom. She doesn't know? No, she doesn't. And I want to keep it that way for right now. We don't know much about this, Mia. I'm trusting you. I want you to trust me, okay? As your commander, I have your best interests in heart. As your brother, I want to keep you safe. Do you understand? I do. Good. In a couple of days, the overseers are going to make a public decision. That's what I would do. Then you'll be released into my care. Once that happens, I'm going to be giving you guys some time. You can get back in your routines, and I'll have a private chat with him. Okay, fine. Thanks for this. Her raising her glass, and Deku does get a nod. Her knocking back the rest of her drink and reaching for the glass. Deku pulling it away as he has a smirk at her. Before he is handed over and she does go take another drink. Her going to leave another minute later. And right now, Deku, he does try to get things in order for what he'll do. What exactly he'll show them out in the wasteland. Now, a few more days do go to pass by. Deku, he eventually is able to get a super stim pack for his leg. And while a lot of people were quite interested in seeing his natural healing process, the overseers, they do take into consideration all the other things they're currently dealing with. Now, Deku, he eventually does finally get back on his feet. Get back on his feet a little after a week. God, why did that rhyme in my head? Anyways, now, Deku, he has already heard about William being put back into the general population. He also has heard about different people's reaction to his release. Right now, they're well aware that Deku is gonna be the one taking over as his commander. And the overseers, they have been keeping quiet about the other punishments part of the matter. He will not be charged with murder. This was an accident. And when the family might call for blood, Deku, he's going to use that. Right now, he does go walking down a corridor with quite a few people. He's got a few things put into place. William has very little free time. And right now, the kid is trying to put in some work on letting out some of that aggression. And Deku, he does go stepping into a room. Right now, Tracy and Aiden going to step in along with him, as he does get a turn and glance up at the security camera in the corner of the room. And when people do to see him, they do go to look around the gym. Some were already throwing glances at that kid's way. Some are now looking towards Deku. And there is where William, he's throwing as many jabs as he can with some gloves on at a punching bag. A regular old bag. And he does come stepping in. Right now, them staring at him as he does walk with a minor limp. And his left arm, it's still regenerating. Some of them are horrified looking at it. Some, however, are quite curious about it. They've heard the rumors about him. And seeing them in person, yeah. He looks terrible. But he's getting better. And right now, William does get a turn. Him seeing Deku, who does a walk right up to him. William, do you have a minute to chat? Sure. I'm a little busy at the moment. Do you, mind saving this for later? I do, actually. I'll spot you on the bench. As for you guys, can you give us some privacy? It'd be much appreciated. Yeah, sure. I still got about a few minutes left, and I said, can you give us some privacy? The man going to jump to his feet. The gaze Deku doesn't give him wasn't exactly asking. And William does get to realize now that this is a bit more of a serious chat. And he does a walk over to the weight bench as Deku does walk up behind him. His arm still in a bit of a sling. And he does a lift of the weight and go to bring it down. Deku bringing his hand up and over, holding the middle of the bar as his claws can be seen by William. And Deku does begin to express. The overseers have talked to him, right? They've told him already about the options and the current situation he's in. Yeah. People are trying to say I got him killed. But that's not what happened. I mean, that's not how things went. Benny, he got him going to rack the weight, sitting up and going to turn to Deku. He got into an accident. That's what happened. He drove off the side and fuck. I mean, he just got those things tore him to shreds. I know. I killed all of them. I'm looking at Deku. Before he does, he'll at least gesture down to the bench, talking about it. Keep going. He'll spot him. Get out some of that aggression. And the kid does get a nod. Right now, him going to begin repping the weight once more. And Deku does get a turn looking at the camera. The blinking light on it is out. And that does tell him one thing. They can finally have a proper chat. Now, William, I've read your file. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. You made a lot of mistakes. The overseers are talking about charging you with murder. You can't be serious. I am. One of them is a distant relative of the boy who died. I think his name was Ben. It was. It was an accident. The other overseers know that. But if this gets pushed the wrong way, your fate is tied to my sister's. I hope you understand that. You've tied yourself to those two girls in a very unfortunate way. Now, there are some options for you, but I want you to understand them. Some of them aren't good, and some of them will put you in more danger. Now, first, let's go over what's the problem. You overlooked security measures. You forged my signature, and you even made up a mission dossier for the mission. You stole property and went out there unsupervised, without proper intelligence. I don't need to tell you how stupid that was. We thought we could, Deku forcing the bar down against the kid's neck. And when he does go to hold it there, just under his jugular, he does press down. The kid going to have his eyes go white as Deku does have his gaze turn cold. Just listen. Don't talk. Now, I'll raise the bar a little bit higher and you'll be able to breathe. You got that? Short intakes of breath. Nothing rapid. Try to stay calm. If you don't, you're going to pass out. Him raising the bar just a bit. And the kid does take a massive inhale as much as he can, coughing halfway through it as he does try to regain his bearing. And Deku does wait for a second, turning to the other two mutants who are currently watching. And he does go to shake his head no when one of them does try to approach. And he does go to express. When the kid does finally go to take short breaths. Now, he's going to make this quite clear. And he's going to make it quite simple. His options are easy. He may be banished from the vault for a short period of time. That is his luckiest option. It's the one that will guarantee he doesn't get charged with murder. And he will be put into his care. That means quite a few things. He wants to see the wasteland. That's perfectly fine. Mia took this option. She may be stationed in Camp Searchlight or on the airport base. That's good. That's the best option they do have. Option B. He does not take this deal. That means that his fate is no longer tied to Melissa or Mia's. That would be the best option he'd give him. Because he'll state this quite plainly. He's had nightmares about the things those people would do to his sister, nightmares about the things they've done to him. He's had them drill into his bones. He's had them cut him open. He's had them bombard him with noise till he's nearly gone deaf. But none of that compares to the type of things he's seen out in the wasteland. When death is an occurrence that can happen every day, you get used to it. You don't even think about the shorter things that have happened. I've killed for less, William. And right now, you're putting my family in danger. You nearly got me killed because of your little antics. You're a smart kid. You're charismatic. You went through the classes I've gone through. You know how to negotiate. You know how to talk to people. You know how to play to their strengths and abuse their weaknesses. And I think you manipulated my little sister. You manipulated Ben. Because of that, he got killed. Now, if you do take option 1, you'll only interact with my sister in a limited capacity. If you take option 2, then I'd suggest you break up with my sister and never speak to her again. And then there's option 3. If you're taken into my command, and you do some dumb shit like this again, I will fucking kill you. I will pick how dull of a knife I use, and I'll make sure that you die slowly, that it's painful, that it's the worst thing you've ever felt. There's a number of things I've learned out in the wasteland, a number of creatures I know. Not a lot of people know this, but there's a number of caves out there filled with rats, worms, and ants. What do you think happens whenever you lock an ant under a bucket on someone's chest? What do you think happens whenever they stay there? No light, start knocking on that bucket, start applying some heat to it. What do you think they do? They panic. I could do that. Watch you squirm and writhe as it tries to eat its way through you, as it panics and scratches away at your chest. Or I could do something simple. I can kill you right here, now, and make it painful. Sure, the overseers might find the body. Security personnel might find it. Hell, depending on where I stash it, people will find you. But they won't stop finding you, William. I will make sure of that. Every time someone opens a new door, does maintenance on a new hatch, does maintenance in a new area, builds something, expands, they might just find a piece of you. And they'll keep finding pieces of you for years. I will make sure they do that. Now, option 3, there's that. I kill you here and now. Or there's option 4. If you do truly love my sister, you're not just some prick manipulating her like I think you are. You will go under my command. You will listen to what I say. You will follow orders. You will interact with Mia in a limited capacity. And you won't fuck things up. You might still be tied to her, but you can break that tie if you want. I will be your superior, and I will be the one who decides what missions you go on. Your reckless little streak will stop. I've had my share of recklessness, and it's nearly gotten us killed. Mistakes happen. I can acknowledge that, and I will know that. Do you understand me? Him lifting the bar. And the kid, he does the jump up. Him spinning and sucking in a massive breath. As Deku does the glare at him and hold up 4 different fingers. Asking, wiggling his hand, about which one he's going to choose. And the kid, he's already pissed himself. He does a turn looking towards the exit. And Deku can see he's trying to see if the camera caught this threat he's given him. But he doesn't freeze, realizing the camera's off, looking at the mutants who are in the room. This is why he had it cleared. This is why he made sure no one else was here. This is what's happening. You can go. But know this, William. The wasteland's full of rapists and murderers. It's full of bad people. If you follow me, we'll go after some of them. You'll see the world. But you'll truly see what's happened to it. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. I understand the offer. Good. Now go hit the showers. You look like you need it. Him turning to run off. However, Deku does make his way towards the door. There is for the two due to accompany him. Right now, him stepping out into the hallway as he does go to bring his hand up, looking at his Pip-Boy to see the time. The camera should be coming back on in just a couple more seconds. Then everything will be fine. And Tracy does get a turn, talking about how that was quite the threat he gave. I know. I thought you really were going to kill him for a minute. Thought about it. Not the right call. Besides, there's always later. He got involved with my family. I don't much tolerate that. I'm sure you don't. But what do we do now? Those other guys, what if they talk? Then you two are witnesses. Me and the kid had a nice conversation, and while I did get a little temperamental, he's already seen the briefing. He's seen the results of what happened whenever things go bad. They showed him the pictures of Quarry Junction. My father screamed at the kid from what I know, and he saw what happened to his friend. Hell, if you saw those pictures and knew I was coming to talk to you, wouldn't you be pretty... Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure you'd be ready to crap your pants. Fair enough. Right. Well, I gotta go. I still need to rest up a bit more, and while I might be a bit tender, my muscles aren't fully healed. Once that's done, we'll go out on another expedition. And when will that be? Maybe a couple days. Until then, you two, business as usual. I've got to go talk to Miss Sutton. Him turning to go and leave. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.